Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be an update to my Kindle video I made back in November to tell you all about why I love my Kindle so much. So this is a little like 3 or 4 month update for you guys. I'm gonna let you know what I love about my Kindle. I am going to give you some book recommendations, show you some books on my TBR, and just generally tell you everything I know about Kindles after having one for a few months. If you are not subscribed, make sure you subscribe down below so you don't miss any videos from me, and leave me a comment down below letting me know if you have a Kindle or not. And without further ado, let's get into the video. I've decided to separate this video into a few parts. So first, we're going to talk about my Kindle, all of the things I love about it, some things I don't love about it, and then we'll get into the books. So I have the Kindle 2024, I think it's the 11th generation. It's just the Kindle Basic in the color matcha. I'll have it linked down below. And I have a clear case on it with some stickers and stuff that I've printed out and put inside. This is what we've got going on right now. A little bit chaotic. This is Chauncey, my favorite character from The House in the Cerulean Sea. I've got some pictures of me and my boyfriend and some other little fun stickery things. So I like how it is. I don't have a pop socket or like Kindle grips or anything like that. I don't really think I need one. I haven't felt like I've needed it. And I recently got a Kindle clicker for my best friend for Christmas. So I've been using that a little bit. I don't have one of the stands for it, but I've used it at the gym on the treadmill, which was wonderful. And so that just clips to the side and you can click with the little remote clicker so that it turns the pages for you and you don't have to hold it. So definitely the best at the gym. So those are all of the things about my Kindle. This model is, I think, $109. So not cheap, but it's the cheapest of the Kindle models. When you buy a Kindle, it comes with, I think, 3 or 4 months of Kindle Unlimited. That's something on my to-do list, is to check when it ends, because I haven't decided if I'm going to keep Kindle Unlimited as a subscription regularly or if I'll pause it and restart it if there's a book I want to read. Some things I love about my Kindle is, first of all, the size of it. It fits very easily in my hand, and like compared to my phone, they are pretty similarly sized. The screen is wider, but it fits in some of my pockets. It fits in my big winter jacket pocket. I can easily bring it around with me. It does not take up hardly any space. It barely weighs anything. And that is one of the biggest things I love about it. I used to be a very anti-e-reader girl. Like, I love the feeling of a physical book and being able to like flip back through the pages and it's like holding a book in my hand. I just love books, and so physical books are my favorite format of books. But as I've gotten older and busier, having different modalities to read has been so helpful. Like, if you've heard me talk about audiobooks, I love audiobooks. I think it's an amazing way to read books, especially because I just have things to do, but I can be reading while I'm doing those things. So I kind of feel that way a little bit about the Kindle. It's very portable. Like, I can easily read on the treadmill at the gym. I can bring it on vacation. I don't have to bring a lot of books, but I can have a lot of books on here. So that has been really awesome. And I do find myself reading faster. You can easily change the text size on a Kindle, but I feel like I'm reading faster. I like how it has a little counter at the bottom, how many minutes you have left in a chapter. It's nice if I'm like reading before bed. I'm like, oh, I could read another chapter. It's only 5 minutes. And I find myself reading faster with the Kindle. That, psychologically, I can't really explain that, but that's just my observation. The battery life on this one is pretty good. They say 6 weeks. Mine is definitely not that good, but I think it's because I read a lot, and like, I haven't read on this as much in the past few weeks, and it's at 82%. I don't even remember when I charged it, but it was a while ago. But like, if I've read every single day for a while, then definitely the battery goes down. But I haven't had to charge it more than once a week ever, so the battery life is really good. This one has like a USB-C charging port, which matches my MacBook that I have, and I know the newer iPhones have that as their charging port as well. So some of my other favorite things about being able to take it a bunch of different places is I love being able to read in bed with it. It's one of my favorite places to read. I always read before I fall asleep, and it's so nice to hold it and not have to hold like a big chunky hardback book. Like, I read a Crescent City book on here that was like 800 pages, and it was so nice to not have to hold the gigantic book in my hands and read it as I was falling asleep. I also can read it in the dark, so when my partner's asleep, or if I wake up early and it's still dark out and I don't want to turn the light on, mostly just if my partner's asleep and I don't want to turn the light on, and I can read on my Kindle, and it doesn't have that harsh blue light that you get from reading on your phone. That part has been awesome. And like I said before, you can travel with it. You can have so many different books on there. Like, I love that aspect of it. But definitely have been loving reading in bed on this. And a question I got a lot on my last video was the comparison between this one and the Kindle Paperwhite, because that's like the next level up of Kindles. I know the Kindle Paperwhite has a warm light back, which I can understand the benefit of. I'm not looking to upgrade this Kindle anytime soon, but I think that would be nice to have the warm light on the background. I think that would be a little less harsh on my eyes, but at night if I'm reading in the dark, I can turn it into dark mode like this, and I'll just turn the brightness all the way down, and I find that that doesn't bother me as much, and it's definitely way better than reading on your phone. And it looks pretty book-like. I think the Kindle Paperwhite probably looks a little more book-like with that like warm light background, but I haven't really had much of a problem with it. I don't read a lot of books or listen to a lot of books on Audible. I've been doing like another like 4 months of a cheaper subscription price, so I've had some more Audible books, and there are a couple books on here that are on the Audible Plus catalog, whatever. The sync between Audible and your Kindle book has been awesome, and I love it, and it's fun to like listen to the book, and then I open my Kindle and it's like, go to this page, or I open my Audible book and it's like automatically sync to your spot. So that's pretty cool. I wish I could do that with the Libby app, because I get most of my audiobooks on there. Unfortunately not. But anyway, that's another cool feature, especially if you use Audible regularly. And my favorite thing about this Kindle is that I can check out ebooks from my library and get them on my Kindle. Because I have decided that unless there's no other possible way for me to get the book, like if I can't get it physically from the library, if I can't get it digitally from the library, if it's not on Kindle Unlimited, if I don't want to buy it, I will not be buying books on the Kindle store. There are so many ebooks at my library, and I have like 5 library cards on my Libby account based on like places I've lived, places my friends lived, we've swapped library cards, whatever. I have a lot of cards on Libby, and I can pretty much find the book that I want, or I'll put a hold on it and wait for it. It just seems so not worth it to me to buy a digital version of a book, because the reason that I like having physical books is so I can like flip back through them and look at different parts of the book that were my favorite, like if it's a book that's my favorite book that I own, but you can't really do that with a digital book. So I don't really feel like it's necessary to own a digital book. And I like still reading physical books and listening to audiobooks, so I don't feel like I have to be reading every single book on my Kindle. So that's why I love Libby. It's very easy to get the book, and you click into Libby and click read with, and it gives you the option to read with Kindle, and then you attach it to your Amazon account and it will just send to your Kindle. Sometimes I forget to sync my Kindle, so that bothers me a little bit if I don't remember to sync it and then all my things don't load. Another thing is I have to have a better habit of, if I get a book and send it to my Kindle, just downloading it on here in case I'm somewhere without Wi-Fi and I can't download it. So those are a couple things that aren't the best, but it doesn't usually bother me that much. I wrote down a little list of cons, and I've pretty much covered all of them. It's the like no warm backlight like the Kindle Paperwhite has. The Kindle Paperwhite is also waterproof, but that hasn't really been like a problem for me at all. I wrote down battery life, but the battery life is really good, so I don't really think that's much of a con. That hasn't really been much of a problem for me. And then the last thing that does actually bother me is that the front doesn't turn off. It must not drain the battery that much, otherwise they wouldn't have it that way, but I just want it to shut off, and it bothers me that it won't shut off. Even if I had one of those cases with like the flip lid, actually let me show you. I got my partner a Kindle for Christmas. This is their Kindle case, but this flip lid one, like it's still on. I don't think that it turns it off. So I don't know, but anyway, this is another cool case you could get, is the ones with the lid on the front. They make ones that turn into like a little tripod stand, which is cool. But those are all of the things about my Kindle that I love. I would absolutely recommend getting one. If you have been considering it, I think it's an investment that's worth it, or any e-reader, honestly. I don't really think that there's anything extra special about a Kindle compared to like a Nook or whatever. Make sure you can get library books on it, whichever one you use, because without that it wouldn't be worth it to me, because I wouldn't want to be like buying this and then buying a bunch of digital books, because I'm trying to save money and I read books so fast too. So anyway, that is my opinion on whether you should buy it or not, is that you should. And if all of those pros seem like things that you would really love, then I would say go for it. It's a fun little piece of technology to have, especially if you read a lot and you read in a lot of different places. Oh, a lot of libraries have Kindles, so if you're looking to like test one out, check to see if your library has a Kindle and they have a bunch of books preloaded onto there, and so you could play around with it for a couple weeks. I have done that in the past. That's my spiel. I wrote down some tips, which I pretty much have already said, which is use Libby or whatever platform that your library uses for books. You cannot send Hoopla books to your Kindle, unfortunately. I learned that one the hard way after I downloaded a book and couldn't send it to my Kindle, which is a bummer because there are ebooks there too, but mostly everything I can find on Libby. I would say just remember to sync it often. You can do it in the Kindle app or on your Kindle, and then download ahead, which I already said. And the Kindle clicker is pretty fun, and I thought it was a little overrated, but then I've seen a bunch of people have them and I was curious about it, and then my friend just got it for me for Christmas, so I've been able to try it out, and it is not overrated. So thank you, Madison. I'm very excited to use that more. Next portion of the video is I'm going to talk through some of my recommendations of books that are on Kindle Unlimited. I'm going to go through these ones pretty quick because most of these books I have talked about before. If you want to see more book recommendations videos, I'll link that playlist here or in the description so that you can watch those. But I was just scrolling through Kindle Unlimited this morning to see which books that I have read on Kindle Unlimited that I would recommend. So for like sci-fi fantasy books, I wrote down The Fifth Season. I'm not sure if the whole trilogy is on there, but this is a fantastic dystopian fantasy series. Really smart. If you like R.F. Kuang's style of writing, I think you would like Fifth Season. The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi. This is like a pirate adventure book. Amazing. I loved this book. The Shades of Magic trilogy by V.E. Schwab. All three of those I'm pretty sure on Kindle Unlimited, and it's just kind of like fun, unique world. They're going through different like quest sort of trials and things. It felt like a very like classic fantasy book, and her writing is so great. The other book of hers I wrote down here was The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which is about a woman who makes a deal with the devil to live forever pretty much, but then nobody can remember her face ever. She leaves the room, or if somebody walks away and they come back, they don't remember her face. Also, so sorry for all the lighting changes. I'm sitting in front of the window because it's finally sunny here today. Last sci-fi book I have on here is Before the Coffee Gets Cold. This is a series of like 5, and I think they're all on Kindle Unlimited. I've only read the first one, and it's about this coffee shop, and you can go there and sit down in this spot and it will travel you back in time, which I think is super cool. So it was a really sweet little book. Then I've got The Rose Code. This is a historical fiction book I just read last month about 3 women who were code breakers in Bletchley Park during World War II. Super, super awesome book. A Man Called Uwe, or A Man Called Ove by Frederick Bachman. This is just a sweet like lit fiction story about an old man, and it's very sad but very good. Then I have The Silent Patient, which is like my go-to book recommendation for people who are looking to get into reading again, or reading just in general, because it moves so quickly. Super fast-paced mystery thriller book. Would definitely recommend it. His book The Maidens is on there too, which I didn't love as much, but it was still a good book. So if you're looking for like mystery books, I would recommend those too. Then I have In the Dream House, which is a sort of like an autobiography style book written in a bunch of different literary styles. This is by Carmen Maria Machado, and it was a great book. I really enjoyed this one, and kind of a heavy hitter, so a little bit intense. It's mostly about an abusive relationship. Check trigger warnings before you read it, but I would recommend that one for sure. And then the last book I wrote down here is Just for the Summer, and in general Abby Jimenez's romance books. I think all of them are on Kindle Unlimited. She writes very emotional romances, I would say, and her male main characters are great. More fleshed out personalities, I think, than some other romance books I've read. So those are my recommendations. Quickly, what's on my Kindle Unlimited TBR right now. I'll put a screen recording up here. I'm in the middle of the Poppy War right now, and I'm also reading Winter Garden right now. I'll be done with those by the end of the month. The rest of these I haven't read yet. Oh, I've got 2 Kate Quinn books on here. I forgot the Alice Network was also on here. So a little bit of everything. Kindle Unlimited only lets you download 20 books at a time, so like if I want to read one, then I'll return another one, but once I read it, then I'm gonna return it. That's all I've got for you today for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any recommendations about having a Kindle, if you have any questions about having a Kindle. I hope that I've convinced you to get a Kindle if you're sort of on the fence about it. I love mine so much, and I don't regret buying it at all, so I would definitely recommend getting one if you're thinking about it. Thank you so much for all the love on my last Kindle video. If you haven't seen that one, that was like when I unboxed it and talked about it and stuff. I'll make sure that one's linked in the cards too. I'm so happy with my purchase, and I love having a Kindle. Anyway, that's all I've got for you guys today, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, friends.